Hi, today we're going to go through a brief overview of the SpinGo event management platform. Just to give you a little bit of background on the platform, it was originally built for events like Comic-Cons and events with a lot of moving pieces. This platform has tools for ticketing, vendor management, volunteer management, managing schedules, really everything that you would need to manage your event. So I'm going to go through just kind of a brief overview and show you all the different modules that it has to offer. If you'd like a more in-depth demo, go ahead and schedule one of those on our website. So let's go ahead and start off with ticketing. So here's an example of a SpinGo ticketing page. All of our ticketing pages are branded to match your event's brand. We like to focus on this because we feel it's a much better transition for your attendees as they're going from your website to your ticketing page. It feels much more natural and they feel much more at ease when buying a ticket. Another thing that you'll notice is that everything is on one page. So we've got our different products. We're selling, some different admission tickets. We've also got some tasting tickets here as well. So you can sell virtually anything you'd like through the system. A lot of our events also sell things like merchandise, just to get a better feel of what's going to be most popular at the event and to increase those pre-sales beforehand. You'll also see that the customer information is also on the page. There's a place to enter the credit card information. And then we've also got our order summary. So what we found is that this one-page checkout makes it super easy for the attendees because the more pages you have to go through to check out, the more chance there is of them to drop off. We like to make it as easy as possible for the attendee to buy a ticket and to complete that purchase, and that's just more revenue in your pocket. Going back to the style of the page, we do stylize that first ticketing page for you. Once your account is created, that's part of the account creation that we do, and we try to match it as closely as possible to fit your website. You, of course, also have access to change this. We have different themes to choose from, and then we can also customize it with some CSS coding as well. As far as service fees go, you can check out the pricing on our website. For more detailed pricing specific to your ticket price, all of our fees are dependent on the ticket price that for each ticket sold through the system. So I'll leave a link to that below. All of our tickets come through as QR codes that the attendees can either print out or send to their phone. All they have to do is present that QR code at the event, and your volunteer can just scan it in with the free app that comes with the system, and they're good to go. It'll check the ticket in. No one else can use that QR code. Every QR code is going to be individualized to the attendee. That way you don't have multiple people trying to get in on the same ticket. The app to check in tickets also allows for at-the-door ticket sales as well. And you can rent or buy card readers from us that connect with the system. One last thing I'd like to point out with the ticketing portion is you can use your own merchant account. Right now our system is compatible with either Stripe or Authorize.net, so you can have that set up. And then what this means is that's immediate payouts for you. So anyone who buys through the system, that ticket revenue is going to come right to your account. You don't have to wait for SpinGo to pay you out. If you do not want to use your own merchant, you can also be on SpinGo's merchant account. However, this does mean weekly payouts of 80%. We hold the 20% until after the event, and this is just in case of any chargebacks that come through. We do fight those chargebacks for you if you're on our own merchant. So that is the ticketing portion in a nutshell. Let's go through the vendor manager. So the vendor manager is meant to take your vendors or exhibitors from start to finish. And it starts with a custom bill application that is built online that your vendors can fill out. This application allows you to ask any specific questions. So if you need to know, how many people are going to be working your booth, it can also have your vendors upload different logos, maybe samples of their work. If they have any documents, such as a food handler's permit that you need to have documented before they can be approved, they can attach all of those to the application. Once the applications come through, you'll be able to manage them in the back of the system. Again, we like to focus on simplicity. So everything is within one place. We'll see all of the vendors' information right here. any extra information that we've added. You can view their logos, their permits that they've got. You can also see their signature where they agreed to the terms and conditions of being a vendor for your particular event. We've also got a messages feature. Again, keeping with the theme that everything is in one place. We don't want you to have to jump between email and the system. You can message your vendors right here through the system. We've got an admin notes section. This is going to allow you and your team to all stay on the same page, and so someone can pick up managing your vendors wherever you left off. And now down below is where you'll actually approve or deny your vendor applications. So any vendor that's approved, they're going to be sent a specific link to purchase. What we like to do is give you total control over, what the vendor is able to purchase and how many. So, for example, you can set a time expiration date. So, if I want to say, okay, vendor, you have 10 days to purchase, or else we're going to give your spot to someone else, I can set that limit here. I can also set a limit of how many and what type of booth someone's able to purchase. So in this particular example, we have them split up between food vendors and merchandise vendors, and we have kind of a standard 10 by 10, 10 by 20, 20 by 20 booth space. However, you can absolutely use this whichever way you'd like to fit your event's needs. So I have an event that uses like red, blue, and yellow as their vendor booth types, and that's totally fine. You can definitely do that. Alrighty, so once you're ready to go, you would hit this approve application, and it's going to send out the purchase link email to the vendor. Once that vendor opens up the email, they'll get a link that looks similarly to this. Again, all these front-facing pages are going to be matched to your event's brand, and they'll be able to see only what you've approved them to see. So, for example, on that last one, they would only be able to see the 10 by 10 food vendor space that I've approved them for. So yeah, again, really simple with the one-page checkout. We've got, all of our booth spaces here, billing information, order summary. You can also ask some additional questions upon checkout if you'd like, and your vendor can then pay, and you don't have to chase them down for checks or anything like that. So yeah, again, we really like to focus on taking some things off your plate, making it a lot simple and streamlining your processes. There are fees associated with the vendors. However, it's just a flat $5 fee for any vendor space sold through the system, which again, you can see total pricing on our website, which I'll link below. Once the vendors have purchased, you can then assign them to a space on our venue map. So this map is just an image file that you would upload into the system. You can then see that we've got some different pins here. You can also create little squares as well if you'd like, really however you like the style of it to be. These pins are then going to be available online if you so choose, so that people can see, where different vendors are. Your vendors can see this before the day of the show to kind of streamline the check-in process. And then these pins can also pull into the attendee app, which I'll show you at the very end. That way your attendees will know where each vendor is. So that's essentially the vendor manager in a nutshell. Let's talk about scheduling. So we do have a schedule manager available with the software. Essentially what this allows you to do is puts your schedule online and in your attendee app so that it's easily accessible for your attendees. So we've got it split out by different days. You can also split it out by categories, also by locations. And, within each schedule item, you can open these up to show descriptions, images. You can also add video links, things like that. There's buttons for social sharing, and then we can also create what are called guest profiles. So this is essentially just more information about any special guests that are going to be at your event. Whether this be musicians, speakers, maybe comedians, really anyone you have at your event, you can give your attendees more information about them as well. So yeah, all of these, again, will pull into the attendee app. Any updates that you make to the schedule, this is going to be, updated live both online and in the app. That way, if you, for example, if you were to print out a schedule instead, those are a little bit harder to change and to update if there's any last minute changes. So that's essentially the schedule manager. And let's go ahead and talk about the next module, which is the volunteer manager. So the volunteer manager, like the vendor manager, takes the volunteer experience from start to finish, starting with a custom application. This application is also online, and you can add additional questions to it so that you can collect different information for your volunteers. So, for example, can you lift more than 25 pounds? Have you ever volunteered with us before? Things like that. Once your volunteers apply, you can then approve or deny those applications, and then kind of manage those volunteers from there. How our volunteer manager is set up is you have your volunteer types. So this might be your security, your ticket takers, your stage hands, kind of the different jobs that you have going on at your event. And then we also have our different areas. This might be, your east gate, your main stage, different things like that. And then we have the shifts that are needed within each of those areas. So I'll show you just kind of an example. I'm going to load one of my areas, and we'll go ahead and click on my 10:15 shift. It says there's not any volunteers assigned yet, so let's go ahead and assign one. So we've got all of our volunteers. Some have been accepted. Dustin Hoffman has been assigned. One's a new applicant. So let's go ahead and assign John Doe to this 10:15 shift. So now you'll see there's one volunteer, John Doe, assigned here. And yeah, so now you know where you have coverage for your event and where you don't. Other features of the volunteer manager, you can also upload different documentation. So if you have a code of conduct or a dress code, training videos, different things like that, you can upload them and the volunteers will be able to access those before your event. Alrighty, and last but not least, let's talk about the attendee app. So the way I like to think about this app is it really ties together everything that you've built in here and then displays it to your attendees in kind of a nice little package. So it's going to pull in any maps that you've put into the system, any information about schedules or special guests or your vendors, anything like that, the app is going to be able to show to your attendees. This app is also customizable as far as the styling goes, so that it does match your event's brand, which is very important. These icons are also customizable, so if you have maybe a graphic designer that wants to make fun little icons, you can absolutely upload those into the system, change those out, and really make the app your own. Some other features of this is the app also includes push notifications and news bulletins. Push notifications are definitely much more fleeting. And then the news bulletins are more messaging that are going to show up underneath this news icon. So maybe a message from a sponsor or something like that. But yeah, so that is essentially Event Master in a nutshell, kind of a really quick demo. Again, if you'd like to schedule a more in-depth demo and talk about how the SpinGo platform can impact your event specifically, go ahead and schedule something on our website. Our team would love to speak with you. So thank you.